Good evening, all. Um, Happy to see you all here tonight, whoever's here. Um, just want to say that we're going to take in, here in a few minutes, start a trauma recovery yoga practice. As some of you may know, but some of you may not. This differs from a regular or traditional or studio yoga class in that everything we do is purely optional. This is really about choice. And so if you choose this evening to sit on your mat and breathe, you're doing yoga. If you choose to sit on your couch and watch Max go through some moves, be awkward and sweat and talk a lot and just zone out in the experience, you too are doing yoga. What we're looking for is a way to find a little bit of peace in here and a little bit of comfort in here. So that's what we're all about. And that's what this practice is about. That's the trauma part. You know, that in one way, shape, or form, we've all dealt with trauma in our lives. And it can leave too much chatter, too much stuff going on. And for me, that was the magic I found in trauma recovery yoga. I'd never done yoga before in my life, before walking into a old converted VFW hall in downtown Las Vegas on a Wednesday night in August, and didn't know what to expect. I was 52 years old, not in the best shape, and definitely my brain was in a traumatic state, experiencing panic attacks, messed up sleep cycles, and everything else. So I walk in there, spread out my mat, begin to practice. Immediately, I feel awkward. I don't know these people, and I'm sweating. I'm falling over. And it's just, it just is what it is. And I'm thinking, man, did I make a mistake coming here? Well, we got to the end of the guided meditation. At the time, I didn't say guided meditation. At the time, using the Sanskrit term, which we don't use much Sanskrit anymore, but the term was Shavasana. To me, I didn't know what the hell that was. But I did know afterwards that, wow, there is a way to get that chatter to slow down. Maybe not stop right away, but to slow down and let you have a little bit of peace. And right then and there, I knew that's what I was looking for. So I started going back. 3 years later, you see me. I'm a registered yoga instructor, been through a 200-hour training program. I've been through trauma recovery yoga training. I typically, before this pandemic hit, taught once a week at a recovery facility for people recovering from all forms of addiction or abuse. And I've been there about a year and a half, and I tell you that I still miss that weekly Monday practice. But with that being said, we're going to move right into practice. So we begin by practicing self-regulation. How do we practice that? Well, the first is a process called grounding, and that's as simple as it sounds. Sitting here, we notice where we're in contact with the ground, and we begin to not just notice the contact points, but notice the support, notice the stability, and begin to feel grounded, connected, and realize that, we're not just floating around waiting to be blown away by the next errant thought. Feel that support. Notice it maybe in the sides of your feet and your sit bones, or hold your hand up, spread the fingers, place your hand down on the mat, and then look down at that hand and see it resting on the stability of the ground. Feel it resting on the stability of the ground. And just truly notice it and appreciate that support that's always waiting right there for you. The next is the process of centering. Again, as simple as it sounds, it works on bringing your awareness from everything to the center of you. We start that, a couple little tricks, I guess you could call them. It's not really a trick, but that sounds neat. We lift the pelvic floor as if trying to restrict the flow of urine. And then we pull the belly button in towards the spine, continuing to breathe, and begin to feel the heat building in our gut, stoking that internal furnace that we'll use during this practice to burn up all of the stuff we no longer need. And if maybe, just maybe, you'll notice your focus coming to the center, to your core. The next step of self-regulation is focusing on the breath, not trying to control it, not trying to regulate it, just noticing it. Noticing, am I breathing in? Am I breathing out? And continuing to notice that breath. Feeling the breath flowing in, maybe cooling your nostrils, maybe flowing out into your chest. And then as that breath, warmed and humidified, flows back up and out. Now we're going to move into a little bit of breath work. We're going to take and engage in 3-part yogic breathing or deep breathing, belly breathing, so many different terms. They're all right, whatever you want to call it. We begin as we try to fill the body up with air from the bottom to the top. So we breathe in, expanding our belly out big, filling our belly with air. The air continues to flow in, inflating the lungs, causing the ribs to separate and the shoulders to lift. And that last little bit of air flows in, making the eyes cool and sparkle. And then we exhale from the top down. As the chin comes down, the shoulders soften, belly comes in. Inhale, big belly. Shoulders lift, eyes cool and sparkle. Exhale, chin comes down, shoulders soften, belly comes in. Inhale, big belly. Shoulders lift, eyes cool and sparkle. Exhale, chin comes down, shoulders soften, belly comes in. One more time. Inhaling, big belly. Shoulders lift, eyes cool and sparkle. And then we're going to exhale, allowing the chin to fall down heavily, the shoulders to soften, and the belly to come back in. Now we're going to release ourselves back into just noticing the breath, not controlling it, not regulating it, just feeling that breath flow in and flow out. Flowing in and flowing out. Now we're going to begin to link movement with that breath. So the next time that breath begins to flow in, I want you to move your right ear to your right shoulder, focusing on bringing the ear to the shoulder, not the shoulder to the ear, keeping that shoulder blade plugged in and continuing to allow the breath to flow in and flow out. Our next link movement is going to be on our next exhale, allowing the chin to fall back down towards the chest. as we exhale. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out. And to keep ourselves balanced, we're going to take in, inhale and bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Feeling the stretch across the opposite side of the neck. Maybe beginning to glimpse that process we're going to work on through this whole practice of inhaling as we extend, exhaling as we contract. So on the next exhale, let's allow the chin to roll back down towards the chest in preparation for moving into some neck circles linked to the breath. So we're going to inhale, bring the right ear to the right shoulder and back, and then exhale as the left ear comes to the left shoulder and down. Inhale to the right and back, exhale to the left and down. Inhale as we extend to the right, exhale as we compress to the left. Inhale, extend, exhale, contract. And now allowing that chin to hang heavily towards the chest, not forcing, not pushing. Maybe feeling those tendons up the back of the neck begin to pull gently as they stretch out. And on the next inhale, we're going to reverse that rotation. Inhaling to the left and back, exhaling to the right and down. Inhaling to the left and back, exhaling to the right and down. Inhaling as we extend, exhaling as we contract. Inhaling, and finally exhaling and allowing that chin to rest even heavier. Before bringing the gaze back up forward, fluttering the eyes open, we're going to take and bring the right hand up, palm forward, fingers spread, and then we're going to shift the gaze and the palm towards each other, blinking the eyes, wiggling the fingers, allowing the light to flow in and stimulate that happy center in your brain. Then as we shift the gaze to the left, you don't have to scratch your head, I had an itch. We're going to take and look down at that left hand on the mat. Again, noticing that support, noticing the ground. We're going to walk that hand gently away, shift the gaze back to the front. Reach that right hand up towards the ceiling as we inhale. And then we're going to compress as we exhale, reaching over the top, compressing on the left and extending on the right. Feeling those tendons begin to stretch out and release some of the tension they've had on them all day long. Inhale back up. Exhale, bring the hands back to the knees. Before moving on to the other side, bringing that left hand up, shifting the gaze and the palm towards each other, blinking the eyes, allowing the light to flow in, shifting the gaze over to the right, noticing that right hand firmly grounded as it walks slowly away. Gaze shifts back forward. Inhale, extend that arm clear up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, compress that right side coming over the top, feeling the stretch on that left side, releasing even more of that tension. Inhale back up. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the knees. Now we're going to inhale as we bring both arms up overhead. Bring the hands together, interlacing the three fingers, keeping the index fingers pointed up like the pointer on a clock. Pads of the thumb together, keeping the gaze forward as we inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, come over 1, 2 numbers on your personal clock. Inhale, extend. Exhale, come down a little bit more. Before we inhale, come back up. Exhale, come down. 1, 2 numbers on that personal clock. Inhale, extend. Exhale, come down a little bit more before inhaling, coming back up. And then we're going to shift the gaze up between our hands. And on the next inhale, we're going to take and tighten up that core, pushing those hands up towards the ceiling, feeling the biceps brush our ears, reaching, reaching, reaching before we open the hands and exhale. Slowly, feeling the weight of the day truly begin to lift from our shoulders. We're going to take and bring the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the right hip, sitting up straight, twisting at the base of the rib cage, not using your arms. Shift the gaze and the torso to the right. And as we inhale, we're going to sit up a little straighter, shift the gaze back over that back shoulder, and then using the front arm, pull yourself around just a little bit more. Again, stretching out some of that tension in those tendons. Before bringing the gaze back forward, bringing the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the left hip, sitting up straight again, and pivoting at the base of the ribs to the left. Inhale, sit up straight, shift the gaze back over that back shoulder, using that front arm. Pull yourself around just a little bit more. And then inhale, release back to center. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out, paying attention to that breath, feeling the air flowing in and flowing out. We're now going to move in whichever way you want to, because again, this is your yoga, your way, into tabletop. We do that by bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, knees below the hips, spread about hip width apart, tops of the feet flat on the mat. It's okay to come back into whatever we're going to call this pose today, bringing your sit bone back to your heels, or you can stay in tabletop. And as we inhale, we feel our back being stretched out as our head pulls to the far side of the room. And then exhale, look over that right shoulder at the right pinky toes. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over the left shoulder at the left pinky toes. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over that right shoulder. Inhale back to center. And exhale, squeeze it out, looking over that left shoulder. Inhale back to center. And now we're going to move into, let's call it bird dog pose today. Some people call it lion. There's a lot of different names for it. It doesn't really matter because we're going to talk through it and do this together. Or you can always choose to sit this one out. That's okay. So first, we extend the left leg back, tucking the toes, gently bouncing on those toes, feeling it begin to stretch out those tendons in the back of the legs. Shifting your weight into your left hand, extending your right hand out like a bird dog, pointing out something, pulling your belly button in to engage the core, and then lifting that left leg up. And while we're doing this, remembering to breathe, we're also noticing those little trembles, those little shakes before coming back down into tabletop. Then we're going to take and move into doing that on the other side. Extending that right leg back, tucking those toes, bouncing gently to stretch out those Achilles and that hamstring, shifting the weight into the right hand, extending the left hand out, pulling the belly button in, bringing that back leg up. And again, as we remember to breathe, noticing those little tremors, those little shakes. Exhale, come back down to tabletop. And now we're going to move into our first down dog of the evening. I do that this way. You can do it however you want. The main purpose is to get into the position, not be fancy with any hops or jumps or anything like that. Tucking the toes, bring the heels back to the sit bones, and then I envision my legs unfolding as my hip bones head up towards the ceiling. I know that especially on this first one of the evening, and probably through the whole thing, my knees are going to be bent. My heels are not going to touch the mat. And that's okay. I may look awkward as can be, but you know what? Nobody's watching. This is my yoga, my way. I'm not watching you. I'm not critiquing you. Just like I'm not watching myself and I'm not critiquing myself. I am moving and breathing and focusing on me. So we inhale, look forward, and slowly walk to the front of the mat before inhaling, rising up, straightening our legs, flattening our back. Exhale, forward fold, reach down towards the mat. And then we're going to take and bring the hands to the crease in the hips, straighten the knees, keeping the head and the shoulders forward. We're going to take in, moving with the inhale, very slowly stack one vertebrae on top of the other, keeping that head tucked, rising slowly, slowly, slowly up before rotating the shoulders back. Bring the head open, opening the hands and the heart. And feeling again more of the weight of the day just sliding off of your shoulders, down your back, and just rolling away. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, lead with the heart. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. High plank. Lower down, low push-up. Ooh, my elbows hurt today. Turn the feet over, pushing up into upward dog, tucking the toes, pushing back into downward dog. And this is where we begin our next practice, trying to create new positive habits, not break old habits. We're focusing on creating, not breaking. So we take this opportunity to begin that process by communicating internally to ourselves, beginning with those two special words. I am doing yoga. I am powerful. I am strong. Now we're going to inhale, bring that right leg up. Exhale, again, it's not about how you get there, it's getting there. Notice I had to move that leg forward. I almost went into the wrong thing. And that's okay, there's no mistakes. Turn the back heel across the back of the mat, rising up into warrior two. Back leg straight, front knee over the front ankle, shoulders back, arms out in line with the feet. Gaze out over that front arm. We'll turn the front hand over, and we're going to reverse our warrior. We do that by bringing that front arm up towards the ceiling, running that back hand down the back side of the back leg, feeling that stretch on the inside of that leg, before rising back up into warrior two, straightening that front leg, tipping the pelvis back. This time we're going to take and allow ourselves to fall over that front leg, bring that back hand up towards the ceiling, the front hand down the inside of the front leg, feeling that stretch in those tendons on the inside of that front leg, before rising back up into warrior two, windmilling the hands down, stepping back, high plank. And you know what?
I'm going to push right back up into downward dog. I'm a little bit stiff. I'm a little bit sore. And this is your yoga, your way. And actually, this is my yoga, my way. So now, the next inhale, we're going to bring the left foot up. And then exhale, swing it forward. Noticing this side's even more awkward than the first one. For me, back foot across the back of the mat, front foot lined up in the front. Again, squaring the shoulders up, arms out, gaze out over that front hand, taking a second to notice. Am I leaning back, stuck in the past? Am I leaning forward, yearning for the future? Or is my shoulder centered over my hips, right here, right now, in the present? Turn that front hand over. And again, we're going to reverse our warrior by bringing that front hand up towards the ceiling. Bring that back hand down the back side of the back leg. Feeling that stretch before coming back up into warrior two. Straightening the front leg. And then tipping the pelvis back. Allowing ourselves to fall over that front leg. Reaching that back hand up towards the ceiling. Running that front hand down. And feeling the stretch on the inside of that front leg before rising back up into warrior two, windmilling the hands down, stepping back and pushing right back up into downward dog. I am stronger than I ever thought I'd have to be. I am stiff but still doing yoga today. I am putting myself first, even if it's just for this practice. Inhale, look forward, hop walker jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep it all up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, lead with the heart. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank. It's okay to bring your knees down. This is your yoga, your way. Lower down, low push up. Turn the feet over, pushing up into upward dog. Tugging the toes, pushing back into downward dog. Noting to yourself that maybe I shouldn't have hosed my mat off this morning because it didn't have time to dry, and I'm worried I'm going to slip and make a fool of myself because it's damp. But that's okay, because if I do that, it's going to be what's meant to be, because it's my yoga, my way, and you do your yoga your way. Inhale, bring the right leg up. Exhale, bring that foot forward between the front hands, rising up into a low lunge on this side, knowing it's okay to come into a kneeling position, or it's okay to bring your heels down, your sit bones down to your heels in a hero's pose to take any pressure off your knees. As we're in whatever position works for you, square the shoulders up, and then inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. And then as we shift the gaze up between the hands, we see a beautiful balloon in our favorite color. And on that balloon, we begin to write down all of the things that no longer serve us. All of those things we tell ourselves or that other people tell us that we use as an excuse for not moving forward. We're writing them all down, knowing they're not true, that they're not helpful. We're just scribbling them all down all over that balloon and then lifting it up, 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 and releasing that balloon and seeing it float higher and higher and feeling it, taking with it all of those things that no longer serve us.
Inhale, bring the hands back up overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, and push right back up into downward dog. I am okay. And I recognize that sometimes it's okay to just be okay. I am more powerful than I ever thought I was. I am Max. Inhale, bring the left leg up. Exhale, bring it forward between the hands. Coming into a low lunge on the other side. And again, knowing it's okay to go into kneeling. It's okay to go into hero's pose. Because why? This is your yoga, your way. So as we square up, bringing our shoulders back, chin slightly tucked, we reach up towards the ceiling once more. Shifting that gaze up between our hands. This time, we see one of those magical little paper bag sky lanterns. And into that sky lantern, we're putting all of those feelings, all of those emotions, all of those words we wish we could communicate to someone, something, somewhere that we just don't know how to. We can't. And we're overcoming that. And we're putting it all in that little basket holding that flickering candle. We're lifting that little sky lantern up, up, up. And as we release it, we see it rising, 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 getting caught by a debris. And somehow we know that it's taking those words, feelings, and emotions right exactly to the person or thing that needs to feel and hear those things. Inhale, bring the hands back overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, and push right back up into downward dog. Practicing one last time. I am handsome. I am valuable. I am worthy. Inhale, look forward, and step through into an easy seated position. However you want to get there is just fine. And again, remembering that this is your yoga, your way. Focus on doing what's right for you. This is your practice. So we're going to take in, I'm just leading. This is like Simon says, Max says. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Just means that you're present, that you're with us in this practice. Bring the bottom of your feet together. Maybe taking a second to really notice your feet for the first time today, maybe. And think about how they're spend so much time in contact with that ground, providing and benefiting from that support. Then I want you to take and feel your back straightening up, holding your chin level, and then feeling yourself pulled up. We're going to hinge at the hips and allow our torso to fold over our feet. This is opening up all of those tendons, all of those little pockets of stress and strain that we store all of our anxiety, all of our problems in all that multitude of crevices in our hips. Inhale, extend a little bit more. Exhale, sink just another millimeter or two. Feeling those places open up and release all of that stuff, all of that crap you don't need anymore. Leaving your lower back feeling released and invigorated. We slowly, slowly, slowly rise up. We're going to keep our feet on the mat as we bring our knees up for our first of 3 boat poses. We lean back, knees up, Hands can be behind your thighs. Hands can be behind you, whatever works for you. We're going to take and shift our balance back onto our sit bones. Again, we're going to notice a few things as we bring our feet up, maybe noticing or definitely noticing that tremble, that shake as we pull our core in, feeling those trembles, focusing on maintaining that balance before we bring the right ankle over left and deflate, deflate. Inhale, lift the seat. Exhale, come right back into our second boat pose. Again, more intensely, feeling that tremble, feeling that shake, and finally identifying it for what it is. That is your mind and your body working together to overcome fear. Left ankle over right. Deflate, deflate. Inhale, come back up into our third and final boat pose. Feeling again now that tremble and that shake intensely and knowing it for what it is fear, and we're chasing it out, leaving us free and light. Right ankle over left. Deflate, deflate. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, set it back down. As we roll over our legs, extending them back into a high plank. It's okay to keep your knees down, whatever works for you. I think that I've said this enough that you know this is your yoga, your way. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's your way. Tipping your heels over to the right, extending that left arm up towards the ceiling, hoping this damp mat doesn't make your hands slide out and you fall down and make a fool of yourself. Coming back down into high plank. Again, shifting the heels over to the left, rising up, reaching that hand towards the ceiling. Again, noticing that tremble and that shake that signify fear being chased out and leaving you in control. Bring that hand down, back down into a high plank, lowering down into a forearm plank before bringing your knees down, your thighs down, your belly, separating your arms, bringing one ear to the mat, and then finally relaxing your feet and allowing the tops of your feet to come down. And as things begin to slow down, you begin to notice your heart beating. Maybe, like grounding, this is the first time today that you've noticed that heart beating. And you're looking for and discovering that realization that that heart is there beating for one person, beating for that heart's one true love, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that one person is you. When we inhale, bring the head up and bring the other ear to the mat. And as we continue to notice that heart beating and that love pulsing out from the heart, maybe, just maybe, you can begin to envision that heart, that love, expanding out in concentric circles, reaching out and embracing your household, extending out through your neighborhood, and ultimately embracing your community in that one thing that we all can never get enough of, love. We're going to take and bring the hands to either side of the chest, elbows pulled back in like a couple chicken wings, bringing the gaze forward, lifting the head, and we're going to push ourselves up into tabletop, just long enough to bring our big toes together, knees to the outside edge of the mat, sit bones back towards our heels. We're going to move into child's pose. If it's within your practice and you want to, you can bring your forehead to the mat. Me, I take and build my own little pillar, my own little column, stacking one fist and the other fist, and then bringing my forehead down into contact with the top of that column, aligning that beautiful, magical spot in the center of my forehead, the third eye, the think center, the connection to the pineal gland, creating pressure that signals our brain that all's well, we are safe. We can begin to slow down. And as we begin to slow down, we begin to notice the last bits and pieces of those thoughts and ideas that no longer serve us, swirling around in the think center. And because we've got it aligned with that top of our column, with its little conduit down through the middle, those things that no longer serve us are sucked down through that column like they're going down a bathtub drain to be dissipated into the earth, absorbed into the ground, there to never bother us again. And then keeping the head bowed down, we're going to take and just transition the hands to flat onto the mat, elbows down towards the mat. Keeping the head tucked, we're going to slowly walk the hands towards the torso, slowly lifting ourselves up, 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 and then finally bringing the head up and fluttering the eyes open and feeling the rest of the weight of the world that we've piled on ourselves all day long just slide off and away, leaving us lighter and at ease. Now we're going to take and lean over, and we're going to move into our final position of the practice, Shavasana, or guided meditation. Traditionally, it's flat on your back, arms just gently extended out to either side, not out into a T formation or anything. Palms can be up, palms can be down. Legs extended out straight, slightly, maybe foot, 2 foot separating the heels, allowing the feet to splay open, which reduces the stress on the hip joints. Now, that's traditional. If you feel like laying on your side in a fetal position, that's the position you need to be in tonight. If you feel like laying on your belly with your head pillowed on your arms, that's the position you should be in. If you want to be sitting on your couch, taking a sip from your beer while you watch me go through this, you know what? That's right where you need to be. Maybe I'd like to be there too, but you can't always be exactly where you want to be. So, as we move into this guided meditation, we're looking to allow all of our muscles to just slowly release to where we feel ourselves sinking ever so slightly, but consistently and ultimately fully into the mat, feeling that support from the back of our head down across our shoulder blades, across our lower back and our sit bones, maybe on the backs of your calves and the backs of your heels, maybe on your elbows and the backs of your hands, just feeling that grounding, that support, and knowing that you are safe. And as you're noticing this feeling of safety, you begin to notice a beautiful ball of light flowing down towards the top of your head. And as that light slowly makes contact with the top of your head, you feel that tingling, that gentle tickling as it pushes its way in, illuminating all of those dark corners or any little last pieces of those things that no longer serve us or trying to hide. It's chasing them all out. As that light rolls down through, you feel your eyebrows drifting farther apart, the wrinkles on your forehead smoothing out. As that light chases all of those things down through your sinuses, you feel your jaw going slack, your tongue resting heavily against the back of your teeth. As that light continues to push, push all of those that clutter down through your chest, you feel your arms just melting into the floor. As that light gives your heart a big, warm, welcome hug, leaving you feeling just secure and safe. The light continues to push that clutter down through your belly, transiting your pelvis as it pushes into your thighs, making them tingle gently. You begin to feel the bottom of your feet tickling and tingling as that clutter is pushed out through the bottom of your feet, as that light totally fills you and leaves you feeling complete and at ease. In this state of ease, I ask you to hear what I say and repeat it silently to yourself. May I be safe, secure, and at ease. May my family be safe, secure, and at ease. May my community be safe, secure, and at ease. May the whole world find safety, security, and comfort. As we begin to move back up into the world of movement, I ask you to begin by wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, rotating your wrists and your ankles. Bring your hands into your chest, covering your heart, reaching those hands up towards the ceiling, extending the fingers, wiggling those fingers, pulling your knees into your chest, and then wrapping yourself in a well-deserved hug, and gently rocking side to side to massage that lower back in gratitude for releasing all of that tension and all of that strain before allowing yourself to roll over onto your side in a fetal position. Head pillowed on your lower bicep, upper hand firmly planted on the ground. Again, reminding ourselves that that support is always there waiting for us. And then keeping the eyes closed to hold on to this feeling of ease that you have worked so hard to gift yourself tonight. Push yourself up slowly into an easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center, four fingers together, thumb pressing into your sternum, allowing your head to bow down to the ultimate ruler, the heart. I ask you one last time to listen to these words, know them to be as true about you as they are about me. I am complete. I am worthy of giving and receiving love. I am okay. This beautiful light within me sees, recognizes, and acknowledges that same light in each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for sharing practice with me today. Namaste. Well, I wasn't too big of a hot mess tonight. I'll tell you, that was a good practice for me. And I just want to tell you that I really appreciate you all sharing practice with me today. And I hope you have a great evening and that you're all safe, secure, and at ease. Good night.